Dr. Płachno, thank you for joining us for World Carnivorous Plant Day from Poland. My name is Declan and I am a middle school student in the United States. You are a professor at the University in Krakow working in the Department of Plant Cytology and Embryology. Can you tell us what cytology and embryology is?
Yes, the first say hello to you. It's a pleasure to have this interview. Yes, cytology is a branch of biology which is connected with cells. So the cells, is the smallest element who build our bodies and plants our bodies. So the psychology studies the structure of the cells, the communication between the cells, ultrastructure of the cells. So everything connected with cells.
Hi, my name is Sarah and I was born in Poland. I will ask you a few questions in Polish and you can respond in English. Co sprawiło, że zaczęłeś interesować się roślinami mięsożernymi?
Oh, I remember that I was a small schoolboy, and I remember the first time when I saw carnivorous plants in some books. So they were so extraordinary and they were so different than normal plants. So wanted have some code, send you the first Nepenthes, the pitcher plants, which was destroyed, I think after 1 month in my home because it was too dry for cultivation in home in this time. So this is the beginning of my interest of carnivorous plants. And later, when I checked more information and I read a lot of books about carnivorous plants, about botany, it was more information and it was like the next steps to my knowledge about carnivorous plants.
Oh wow, that's really interesting.
Thank you.
What is the most shocking thing you've learned by researching carnivorous plants?
The carnivorous plants, I think that they give us a lot of shocking things. Probably what's most interesting for me, which was surprised, that some carnivorous plants, they are not only killers, that not only kill and digest some animals, but they cooperate with other animals. For example, the relationship between big Nepenthes from Borneo, like Nepenthes lovi, Nepenthes raja, that they use some small mammals for nitrogen. So this is like not carnivory, but something special. That they are carnivorous plants, but they are like, for example, to another way to obtain some nutrients. So this is especially for me interesting, and these pitcher plants, which have this relationship with mammals, they produce very nice smell, like odor of fruits. So they mimic fruits or flowers. So this is also very nice character.
Yeah, we just learned about how bats are living in certain carnivorous plants, and they developed a.
Yeah, Nepenthes rafflesiana.
Yeah, they.
So yeah, okay.
They'll sleep in
Would
there.
you like to say?
They're so small that they can't touch the sides of it, but the carnivorous plant still is fed by the droppings made by the bat.
Yes, and if you check, we have a few like subspecies of variety of this Nepenthes rafflesiana, and this special Nepenthes rafflesiana, which is connected with bats, it's elongata. And if you see that inside the Nepenthes you have a digest fluid, yes, this fluid contains some enzymes to digest some small animals. And in this picture with bats, the there are small amount of the fluid if you compare with over Nepenthes. So this is a special character that, but it's not digest. So this is very, very special cooperation between animal and plant.
Jaki jest Twój ulubiony fakt dotyczący roślin mięsożernych?
I think it's a very difficult question because I like this group very much. Maybe this is interesting that these carnivorous plants they have to catch animals, but also they need the animals for pollination, for producing the seeds. So in different groups of carnivorous plants, we have a different specialization to have flowers separated from the traps. So, for example, in Utricularia, we have, for example, aquatic traps and flowers are not in water. Or, for example, in Sandio, we have very tall inflorescences with flowers. Or, for example, in Nepenthes, the flowers are very small and they're not very similar to the traps. So different animals are attracted to the flowers and different animals are attracted to the traps. However, for example, in some Pingicula species, probably the same animals could be both pollinator of the plant, so they carry the pollen grain, yes, to pollinate the flowers, and also sometimes they are trapped, so they are killed by the plants. So this is something unusual.
Yeah, that is interesting.
No, thank you.
What is a protocarnivorous plant, and why do you consider trigger plants protocarnivorous?
Okay, so the first part of the question. In classification, we have carnivorous plant syndrome, and if the plants attract animal, trap animal, digest this animal, and later absorb nutrients from the body of the animal, we say that it's a true carnivorous plant. However, if some plants we can't say that these plants produce digestive enzymes. So this plant has to have a help from another, for example, bacteria or fungi to digest the prey. So we can say that this is a protocarnivorous or semi-carnivorous plant. Many years ago, Professor Darnowski, who is also from United States. However, his grandfather and grandmother were from Poland also. He invited me to the study of triggerplants, of Stylidium. I remember that he spent some years in Australia to observe Stylidium in nature, and he found that a lot of small animals, especially flies, are trapped near the flowers. Because near the flowers, some Stylidium species have small glands which produce slime, and small animals are cut to the slime, to mucilage. So we did some experiments. We tried to show if any enzymes are in the glands. And also I remember that we showed that some protein from the body of the fly can be transported to the plants. So in this time, we proposed that some Stylidium could be a carnivorous plant. However, I remember that last year was published another paper about Stylidium. The authors are from Australia, from Western Australian University, and they showed that another Stylidium species are not carnivores. So there are different opinions about different species of Stylidium, but still Stylidium are very unusual plants, which is worth for cultivation, I think.
What did you learn about the Genlisea or the corkscrew plant?
Oh, I like very much this question. Why? Because when I was a student, I read the paper of Professor Bartosz group about Genlisea attracts and kill the protists. So I wanted also study Genlisea. And I remember with my colleague Kasia, we did a lot of experiment with Genlisea. We gave to Genlisea both protists, but also some animals, and we find that Genlisea trapped different organisms, not only protists, but every small animals which are in a wet soil were trapped by Genlisea. So this is some my story with carnivorous plants. Starts with Genlisea, and 2 years ago it was big pleasure for me because I was in Brazil and I saw Genlisea in nature. It was surprised for me, and it was, how to say, pleasure to see the plants which I only had in cultivation in laboratory, to see how this plant grows in nature, and I could collect some traps, collect some plants. And with my Brazilian friends, we described last year new species of Genlisea, Genlisea hawkingi.
Dlaczego uważasz, że ludzie powinni obchodzić Dzień Roślin Mięsożernych?
Oh, I think that carnivorous plants are so unusual, and they can teach us about botany. And also, sometimes when you go to the school and ask young people in the school about botany, people say, oh, this is boring, botany. However, when you ask him, okay, but did you hear about carnivorous plants? The faces are changed. They say, oh, yes, carnivorous plant, this is very interesting. So I think that carnivorous plant can attract young people to science and attract to botany. So this is one reason for this day. The second reason is that a lot of carnivorous plants grows in habitat which are now destroyed by people. So if we share the knowledge about these plants, we can save the habitat and save not only carnivorous plants, but also other animals and plants which grow together with carnivorous plants. So for this reason, I think we have to have this day.
Okay.
And what's your opinion? What do you think?
I agree. I think that's really cool that we celebrate a day like this. Dziękujemy za spotkanie z nami i poświęcony nam czas.
Bardzo dziękuję. Było mi bardzo miło usłyszeć polską mowę od ciebie. Thank you very much for opportunity to be together with you. And this is fantastic evening for me, because here it's a night. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Do widzenia.
Do widzenia.